If I'm just like normal everyday pet parent, in my buddies app, in my pet's timeline, what should I be keeping track of like for my pet's health? 10 years from now, I have this timeline of my pet's health that could be helpful. Are there things I should be tracking that maybe I'm not tracking? Obviously my pet's weight, activity level, that kind of thing. Anything else?
Exposures for sure. The study at University of Wisconsin-Madison is being done by a friend of mine for like 30 years. And she's hilarious because she goes, if you see the lawn that there's not a weed in, don't let your dog walk on that lawn. Don't get exposed to it. If you're walking your dog in a park, and we all do this, like sometimes we're in the park and it's football fields or baseball fields. I have a park near us that's also doubles for baseball and football, and it's pristine. Probably shouldn't be letting the dog walk on it, right? Or be exposed to it. So I think exposures are really, really important. Bringing your dog inside if your neighbor's doing something. I live in a neighborhood where people are pretty open to not doing it, and people around me are much more aware of it, of like, this could cause problems for my neighbor's dog in the backyard next door to me, even if I don't have one. Sometimes just pulling your pet inside is important. So exposures are super, super important. Travel history is very important because there are different diseases in different areas of the country, and they can take a while to brew. And your vet, like if I'm out here in Colorado, there are diseases I would not think to ask you about.
Right.
So knowing your dog's travel history and offering it to your vet if your pet is sick, and saying, we were in the Southeast a few months ago visiting Alabama. Is that important? Or Arizona, where valley fever in certain areas of California. Is that important? Because otherwise your pet can be misdiagnosed, or you don't look for it, right? Because it would be, maybe it's an expensive test and you would never just run it without some indication. And it's not always on top of people's minds that your pet has traveled. So keeping a really good, close track on your pet's travel is important. And if you're going to travel with your pet, make sure you know what diseases are in that area. Because, for example, here in Colorado, we do not have a problem with Lyme disease at all. But we might if we took our pet to
where I live here in New York.
England, right?
Where we get ticks everywhere.
Right. So that's important for people, I think, to know. And we just totally space it, right? When we're going places. Like, we don't have a huge tick and flea problem. And again, I'm knocking on wood here in Colorado, but my dog is on preventive because if she travels, which she does with us sometimes, she may be traveling to an area. So knowing all of that is super important. Your vet usually tracks vaccines, but it's important for you to know, to have an idea of that. So those are all things I think are really important for people to monitor. For people who are getting pets that are getting older like mine, there are instruments out there that are cognitive tests to kind of keep an eye, like, is my dog just showing these really subtle signs of cognitive declines? Because just like in people, we can't always stop dementia, but we can slow it down, right? And there are things you can do for your dog and your cat to slow mental declines. And those are important to note.
Hey, everybody, if you like this, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of this awesome content.